and gentlemen, esteemed guests and dear participants, welcome to the third Azerbaijan-American Youth Forum. We are truly delighted to welcome participants from across the United States and to open this vibrant forum, Young Voices of Future Leaders, where Azerbaijani-American youth come together to feel sense of belonging, build meaningful connections, grow and lead with purpose.
To honor the Republic of Azerbaijan and the United States of America, we now invite you to stand for the national anthems.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner
Every part of this forum has been designed with care and intention. From speakers to panels, from meaningful content to thoughtful details, we want you to feel inspired, actively engaged, and truly enjoy every moment of this experience. This forum will mainly be conducted in English. However, if anyone feels more comfortable expressing themselves in Azerbaijani, please feel free to do so. Our goal is for everyone to feel welcomed, included, and comfortably sharing their voices. Am I right, Ellen?
Of course, absolutely. So, by the end of this excellent journey, we have no doubt that you will walk away not only with new knowledge, but also with meaningful friendships, stronger connections within our community, and lasting memories. With that said, we are excited to officially open the third Azerbaijan-American Youth Forum.
Thank you, and let's begin.
Now, please welcome our first speaker, Mr. Farid Mamadov, head of the Azerbaijan Center for the Midwest States.
Good morning, everyone. Herkese salamlar. And thank you so much today coming and sharing that perfectly nice organized event together with us. I would like also share the stage with my wife, Mehriban Mamadova. So
Thank
Mehriban,
you.
please, welcome
Thank
to
you.
everyone
Yeah,
too.
we always act together. Thank you, everyone. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Azerbaijani-American Youth Forum 2026 here in Chicago, a windy city. So it is truly an honor for us to see so many young Azerbaijani Americans, community leaders, guests, speakers, and friends gathered together for this event. Thank you all being here and being part of this event. So this forum was created with one goal in mind: to bring our youth together, strengthen connections, sharing the experience, and inspire the future leadership. This year's theme, From Dialogue to Action, reflects the importance of turning ideas in meaningful impact. So we hope today becomes a place where new friendships are formed, new ideas are born, and future collaboration begin. So would like to warmly welcome our distinguished guests, including Mr. Tahir Bora Atanur, Consul General of Turkey in Chicago, Mr. Sayed, Deputy Consul of Pakistan, Chicago, and I'd like to also thank Deputy Chairman of Azerbaijan Diaspora, Elshad Aliyev, thank you, and Ms. Salhat Abbasova, also Department Head at Diaspora of Azerbaijan.
And also welcoming the Azerbaijan Embassy, Fatma Khanım.
Fatma Khanım as well, thank you. We also would like to sincerely thank all organizers, volunteers, speakers, panelists, sponsors, and guests who helped to make this forum possible. Special thanks to Azerbaijani-American Organization Alliance, ACMA, especially Farid. He did a lot of work, so.
Yeah, we tried to do that.
And our distinguished guests from Azerbaijan and everyone who traveled from different states to join this event. We also would like to encourage all the participants to actively engage throughout the day, ask questions, share your ideas, network with each another, and most importantly, believe in your ability to make a difference. So we hope this forum leaves us each inspired, empowered, and motivated to continue representing our culture, values, and community with pride. Thank you for being here, and we wish everyone productive and inspiring, memorable forum. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I would like to just shortly say that this is really will be nice today. Everyone will be enjoy, and I hope everyone will be networking today. That's the main importance. So all the youth, all the Azerbaijani, and I'm glad everyone is here. So enjoy. If you have any question, anything, I'm here. Please feel free. Thank you so much again for coming. Thank you. Please. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next, we invite to the stage a member of organizing committee of the forum, Mr. Rashid Azimov.
Hi everyone. So, dear representatives of the State Committee of Work with Diaspora of Azerbaijan Republic, thank you so much for helping in organization. So, distinguished councils, honored guests, from different states. Thanks so much for joining us today. So on behalf of our organizing team, it's my great pleasure to welcome all of you in the Azerbaijan Youth Forum here in Illinois. So today is a very meaningful day for us. We're bringing together all Azerbaijani students, young professionals, community members, and distinguished guests who share one common purpose: to strengthen our connections, support each other, and represent Azerbaijan with pride wherever we live, study, or work. So I would like to express our sincere appreciation to guests who join us today. This forum is not only about the speeches or panels, it's about the connections. It's about creating space where students and young professionals can meet each other, learn from experienced leaders, ask questions, that's very important, and feel they are part of a large Azerbaijan network. So many of us came to the United States with different goals. Like some of us, like education, career, professional growth. But right now, like we are the ambassador of Azerbaijan in US. So like all of us should present and Azerbaijan in the best way. So I hope today's discussion will inspire new ideas for all of us, new friendships, and future collaborations. So thank you so much. Welcome again. Hope like this forum will be very beneficial for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your inspiring speech, Mr. Rashid Azimov. So, great leaders may leave this world, but their legacy lives on forever and continues to inspire future generations. We now invite you to watch a commemorative video, which is called Heydar Aliyev and Azerbaijani Culture, a strategy for preserving and developing national identity. Thank you.
The cultural heritage of the Azerbaijani people is the product of rich historical development, spanning millennia. This heritage is not only a legacy of the past, but also one of the fundamental pillars of national identity. However, the political changes of the 20th century, especially during the Soviet period, posed serious challenges to the preservation of national and cultural values. It was under such complex historical circumstances that Heydar Aliyev emerged as a leader who brought a turning point to Azerbaijan's cultural life, elevating the preservation and development of national heritage to the level of systematic state policy.
Biz fəxr edirik ki, bizim xalqımız belə qədim, zəngin mədəniyyətə malikdir.
Heydar Aliyev and Azerbaijani culture, a strategy for preserving and developing national identity. Heydar Aliyev was born in 1923 in Nakhchivan. He worked in state security agencies at various stages of his career before rising to political leadership. In 1969, he was elected first secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Azerbaijan, laying the foundation for significant changes in the republic's socio-political life. In 1982, he was promoted to the leadership of the USSR, but in 1987, he was removed from office. After Azerbaijan regained its independence, he returned to power in 1993 at the request of the people and led the country until 2003. During this period, alongside state building, he paid special attention to the preservation and development of national culture. His rise to power in 1969 marked the beginning of a new stage in the social life of the Azerbaijan SSR. Despite the strict framework of Soviet ideology, special attention was given to the development of national culture, and purposeful steps were taken in this direction. Heydar Aliyev linked the development of culture primarily to human resources policy. At his initiative, hundreds of Azerbaijani youths were sent to leading universities across the former USSR, an important strategic step aimed at the future. As a result, a new generation of intellectuals emerged in Azerbaijan in the 1970s and 1980s. Representatives of this generation later played a key role in the development of both culture and education. Another important direction of this policy was the issue of language. The inclusion of Azerbaijani as the state language in the 1978 Constitution carried more than just formal legal significance. This step was strategically important for strengthening national self-awareness, as language is not only a means of communication, but also the primary expression of a people's historical memory and cultural identity.
Azerbaycan hükümeti adından sizi büyük bayram münasibətilə ürəkdən təbrik edirəm və institutun bütün kollektivinə yeni böyük müvəffəqiyyətlər arzuluyuram.
Cultural policy during this period produced tangible results. The restoration of historical monuments and the expansion of museums and theaters are clear examples of these efforts. Cultural institutions, such as the Azerbaijan State Academic Opera and Ballet Theater, entered a new phase of development. New performances were staged, and interest in classical musical heritage significantly increased. In this context, the grand celebrations of the anniversaries of prominent composers such as Uzayir Hajibeli, Gara Garayev, and Fikret Amirov were of particular importance. These events were not merely commemorative, they were part of a broader policy to preserve and promote the National School of Music. At the same time, Heydar Aliyev's role in the development of Azerbaijani cinema was undeniable. Films such as On Distant Shores, The Investigation, In a Southern City, Nasimi, and Babek were produced and, in many cases, passed Soviet censorship thanks to his personal initiative and support. These films were not only works of art, but also expressions of national history and identity through cinema. It is especially noteworthy that in 1982, the remains of Hussein Javid were brought back from Siberia to Azerbaijan and reburied in Nakhchivan. This act was not only a tribute to a literary figure, but also a restoration of historical justice.
Azərbaycan xalqının böyük şairi Hüseyn Cavidin xatirəsinə həsr edilmiş bu məqbərənin açılışı münasibətilə ürəkdən təbrik edirəm.
Overall, during his leadership, fields such as museum and library work, painting, sculpture, and architecture developed rapidly. Monuments erected in Baku and architectural works combining modern and classical styles became an integral part of the nation's cultural heritage. After Azerbaijan restored its independence in 1991, the country faced a deep political and economic crisis, which also affected the cultural sphere. The weakening of state institutions slowed cultural development. In this context, Heydar Aliyev's return to power in 1993 marked not only political stabilization, but also the beginning of a cultural revival. At this stage, the essence of cultural policy evolved. While earlier, the main goal had been to preserve existing heritage. Under new conditions, the focus shifted to developing this heritage and promoting it internationally. Azerbaijani culture began to integrate into the global cultural space. In this regard, the re-evaluation of the legacy of historical figures played a key role. the international celebration of the anniversaries of classical figures such as Nizami Ganjavi, Fuzuli, and Molla Pana Vagif became important steps in presenting national culture to the world. Additionally, efforts to restore the tomb and mausoleum of Imaduddin Nasimi in Aleppo demonstrated a commitment to preserving national culture beyond geographic borders. The celebration of the 1300th anniversary of the epic Kitab-i-Dede Gurgud in 2000 became one of the peak moments of this policy. The epic was presented not only as a literary monument, but also as a shared cultural heritage of the Turkic world. At the same time, cooperation with international organizations expanded. In particular, strengthened ties with UNESCO led to the global recognition of several Azerbaijani cultural heritage sites. The inclusion of Ishari-Sheher, the old city of Baku, along with the Shirvanshahs Palace complex in the UNESCO World Heritage List, was a significant outcome of this policy. Over time, cultural policy expanded into a broader dimension. The preservation of national identity began to be understood within the context of unity among Azerbaijanis worldwide. In this regard, the first Congress of World Azerbaijanis, held in 2001, was of great significance. Its main idea was to promote the ideology of Azerbaijanism as a unifying factor for Azerbaijanis worldwide.
Kim harda yaşayırsa, öz vətəni haqqında, öz xalqı haqqında, öz milləti haqqında, öz ana dili haqqında düşünsün. Biz hamımız bir yerdə Azərbaycan xalqının gələcək nəsilləri qarşısında böyük məsuliyyət daşıyırıq. Mən vətəndən kənarda yaşayan hər bir Azərbaycanlının aqibəti ilə həmişə maraqlanmışam. Arzu ederdim ki, küre ərzin hər bir güşəsində yaşayan Azərbaycanlı öz xalqına, öz vətəninə münasibətini bildirsin.
As a continuation of this policy, diaspora building became a key direction of state strategy. Today, the activities of the State Committee on Work with Diaspora reflect this ongoing strategy. Important progress has been made in coordinating diaspora organizations, promoting national culture abroad, and uniting Azerbaijani communities.
Xaricdə yaşayan Azərbaycanlılar böyük qüvvədir və onların fəaliyyəti ölkəmiz üçün çox önəmlidir. Və onların fəallığı və Azərbaycan xəriyyətlərinin çatdırılması, Azərbaycan maraqlarının müdafiə edilməsi əlbəttə ki, bu önəmli bir amildir.
Currently, the consistent policies implemented by President Ilham Aliyev, as well as the work of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, led by Mehriban Aliyeva, are of particular importance. The Foundation's efforts in developing the art of Muam, promoting national culture internationally, and preserving historical heritage demonstrate the successful continuation of this policy in its modern stage. Cultural institutions such as the International Muam Center in Baku and the Azerbaijan National Carpet Museum, built in a striking modern architectural style, are concrete results of this policy. These are not only architectural landmarks, but also living spaces for the presentation of national culture. One of the most significant outcomes of this policy is the work of the Heydar Aliyev Center, which today is regarded as one of Azerbaijan's main cultural centers. Built in a modern architectural style, this center is not only an outstanding architectural landmark, but also an important institution for promoting Azerbaijan's historical and cultural heritage. The international events, exhibitions, and cultural projects held here contribute greatly to introducing Azerbaijani culture to the world. In conclusion, the cultural policy initiated by Heydar Aliyev has evolved into a comprehensive strategic system aimed at preserving national identity, building a global diaspora, and promoting Azerbaijan on the world stage. This proves, once again, that culture is not only a legacy of the past, but also a fundamental tool for shaping the future.
Biz fəxr edirik ki, bizim xalqımız öz böyük şəxsiyyətləri vasitəsilə Azərbaycanın milli, mənəvi dəyərlərini daimi qoruyub saxlamış, onları zənginləşdirmiş və bugün ümumi bəşəri dəyərlərin bir hissəsinə çevirmişdir.
Moving forward, representing Samir Novruzov, board member of the Azerbaijani-American Organizations Alliance.
Distinguished guests, dear friends, especially our young future leaders, our guests from the Baku. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers, to Azerbaijan Center of Midwest of America, Mehriban Khanım and Farid, for this wonderful forum, bringing together young Azerbaijanis from across the United States is not only meaningful, it is essential for our future. Thank you to everyone who worked hard to make this gathering possible, and welcome to all you joining us here today in beautiful Chicago. I am also honored to represent the Azerbaijani-American Organizations Alliance, where I proudly serve as a board member and co-founder as well. Our alliance brings together more than 20 Azerbaijani organizations from different states across America. Our mission is simple but important: to strengthen our diaspora, build unity, and help our organization become more effective, professional, and impactful. Through the Alliance, we organize leadership trainings, educational initiatives, networking opportunities, and community support programs designed to empower Azerbaijan organizations, and especially our younger generations. Because strong communities are not built by coincidence, they are built through connection, mentorship, and shared purpose. And that's exactly why this forum matters. Today, we are not simply attending another conference. We are building future of the Azerbaijani-American community in the United States. If we look at some of most successful communities in the world, one thing becomes very clear: strong networks create strong people. Communities that support one another, mentor one another, and stay connected across generations are the communities that thrive. No matter where life takes us, we must never forget who we are, where from we came, and what we represent. As Ray Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, once said, relationships are the currency of the success. The friendship, professional relationships, and connections you build in a room like this may shape your future careers, businesses, lives for decades to come. I also want to acknowledge the important support provided by the Azerbaijan government toward diaspora engagement and youth development. The state community of work with diaspora plays a significant role in strengthening ties between Azerbaijan and young Azerbaijanis living abroad. One great example is the annual summer camps organized in Azerbaijan for Azerbaijani students living overseas. These camps are designed to bring young people together, strengthen cultural identity, create lifelong friendships, and build exactly the kind of network we are discussing here today. My friends, even though we are living in the United States, too far from Azerbaijan, we are not only acting as a diaspora community here, but we're also trying to support in Azerbaijan as well. I know that Azerbaijan is a young country. We should use the American resource. Sometimes, in my case, I will give you one example. I will also briefly speak about the issue very close to my heart. It is my big project in my life. I am involved in an organization dedicated to preserving the Karabakh horse, one of the oldest and most beautiful horse breeds in the world, and a proud symbol of the Azerbaijani heritage and culture. The Karabakh horse is not just an animal. It is a living part of our history, our identity, our national spirit. For many years during the occupation of the Karabakh region, the survival and development of this rare breed faced serious challenges. Today our mission is to help preserve it from extinction and ensure the future generation will know and value this important part of Azerbaijan heritage. Because the nations are remembered not only by their economies and military strength, but also by how well they protect their culture, history, and identity. And Azerbaijan has a history worth protecting. Our land is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations. The ancient rock carvings the cobblestone date back thousands of years. Historical treasures such as the old city of Baku, Sheki, Khinaluk have been recognized by UNESCO as a part of the world's cultural heritage. This is who we are. We came from civilization with deep roots, rich culture, and a proud history. Dear young friends, no matter where we live, Houston, Chicago, Washington, New York, Los Angeles, or anywhere else, we are all carry Azerbaijan in our hearts. Your success is Azerbaijan's success. Your unity is our strength. And your connection to one another will shape the future of our community for generations to come. I would like to conclude this with these famous words of the national leader of Azerbaijan, Heydar Aliyev. I am proud that I am Azerbaijani. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. We really appreciate, and thank you so much for sharing your ideas and your speech. So continuing our program, we are expressing our gratitude to the State Committee on Work with Diaspora of the Republic of Azerbaijan. We are honored to introduce Mr. Elshad Aliyev, Deputy Chairman of the State Committee on Work with Diaspora of the Republic of Azerbaijan.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Honorable Consul General of the Republic of Turkey, Honorable Deputy Consul General of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, these two brother countries for Azerbaijan, thank you for joining us. I will speak in Azerbaijani. I think my compatriots will translate for the Deputy Consul General for Pakistan. Sabahınız xeyir gençler. Necəsiz? Yorulmamışsınız? Mənim üçün Sərhəd xanım bir protokol çıxışı hazırlayıb, amma bunu qoydum qırağa. Belə gözəl gəncləri, Azərbaycan gənclərini mən bir arada gördükdə çox şad oluram. İlk növbədə sizin hamınızı Diasporlu İşçi Dövlət Komitəsinin sədri Fuad Muradovun adından salamlayıram. Bir daha xoş gördük hamınızı. Diasporlu İşçi Dövlət Komitəsi son illər ərzində, yəqin ki siz də izləyirsiniz, çoxlu proqramlar həyata keçirdir. Təkcə bir faktı deyim ki, 2025-ci ildə komitənin dəstəyi ilə 800-dən artıq tədbir, forum, mədəni tədbirlər təşkil olunmuşdu. Bu günlərim Azərbaycan gəncləri dünyanın demək olar ki, komitə 80-dən artıq ölkəsində fəaliyyət göstərir. Bəzən bizə sual verirlər, məsələn, biz bura gəlməmişdən bir gün qabaq komitənin nümayəndə heyəti Vyetnamdan qayıdıb sədrin rəhbərliyi ilə. Bəzən bizə soruşurlar, Vyetnamda Azərbaycanlı var. Bəli, var. 100-ə yaxın Azərbaycanlımız yaşayır Vyetnamda. Amma biz komitə olaraq yalnız diasporla deyil, bizim əsasnaməmizdə belə bir maddə var. Azərbaycana dost münasibət bəsləyən xalqların nümayəndələri ilə də çalışırıq. Vyetnamda, Azərbaycanda Sovetlər Birliyi vaxtında Azərbaycanda təhsil alıb geri qayıtmış, yəni Vyetnamlılar yaşayırlar. Onlar bilirsiniz ki, Sovet vaxtı çox az xaricilər, yəni qapalı bir ölkə olubdu. Siz xoşbəxt adamsınız ki, bu gənclər o dövrü görməyiblər, amma bizim həyatımızda müəyyən bir hissəsini həmin dövlətdə yaşamışıq. Və həmin dövrdə Azərbaycanda təhsil alıb qayıtmış insanlar, yəni Azərbaycanı sevən insanlar orada bir təşkilat yaratmışlar, orada Azərbaycanın təbliği ilə məşğuldular. Mən bu günlərin bilirəm ki, bizim bu 3-cü forumdur, Amerikadakı Azərbaycanlı gənclərimizin 3-cü forumudur. Birinci forum bizdə George Washington Universitetində, ikinci forum Virginiyada keçirilmişdi və bu bizim 3-cü forumdur. Forumun təşkilatı məsələlərində köməklik göstərdiyinə görə ilk növbədə bizim Chicago-da yaşayan Fərid bəyə və Mehriban xanıma və onların təşkilatının bütün üzvlərinə təşəkkürümüzü bildiririk. Eyni zamanda Amerika-Azərbaycan Təşkilatları Alyansının idarə heyətinin üzvü Samir bəy buradadır, Nurlan bəy buradadır, sonra bizim icraçı katibimiz Nigar xanım buradadır. Onlara bu tədbirə dəstək verdiklərinə görə təşəkkürümü bildirirəm. Fərid bəy də idarə heyətinin üzvüdür, amma Fərid bəyin biraz idarə heyətindən daha çox yerli insan kimi daha çox əziyyət düşübdür. Və siz müxtəlif ştatlardan gəlmişsiniz. Bizə 100-dən çox, 150-yə yaxın mən bildiyim müraciət var idi və 150 nəfərdən 40 nəfər biz seçdik, bura dəvət elədik. Məsələ burada ondan ibarət deyil ki, digər gənclərimiz burada iştirak eləməyə layiq deyildilər. Biz adətən tədbirlərimizi təşkil edərkən, xüsusilə də Amerika Birləşmiş Ştatları kimi bir ölkədə çalışırıq ki, ölkənin yaşayan, yəni ölkədə olan bütün ştatları əhatə eləyə bilək, Azərbaycanlıların yaşadığı bütün ştatlarımızı əhatə eləyə bilək və bu günlərim siz burada indi rəsmi hissədir, rəsmi hissədən sonra müəyyən panellərdə müəyyən danışıqlar aparacaqsınız, müzakirələr aparacaqsınız və bir şey də deyim ki, biz buradan qayıdandan sonra Amerikadan təxminən 2 gün sonra UK-də, yəni Birləşmiş Krallıqda yaşayan gənclərimizin forumunu keçirdəcəyik. Həqiqətən də siz bu gənclik, Azərbaycanın bu gəncliyi xoşbəxt bir gənclikdir. Bəlkə də son 200 il ərzində müstəqillik dövründə müstəqil Azərbaycanda doğulub, müstəqil Azərbaycanda yaşayıb, müstəqil Azərbaycanda böyüyən bir gəncliksiniz. Bu yəni elə-belə pafoslu sözlər deyil. Biz bu günlərim Azərbaycan sizin bu gəncliyin sayəsində Azərbaycan öz torpaqlarını işğaldan azad elədi. Bu sizin nəsildir ki, Azərbaycanı bugünkü inkişaf səviyyəsində mühüm rol oynayır. Və siz Heydər Əliyevlə bağlı filmə baxdınız. Azərbaycanda dövlətin gənclər siyasəti həmişə ən aparıcı siyasət olubdur. Hətta görürsünüz, Sovetlər Birliyi dövründə xaricə, yəni ölkədən xaricə, o vaxt biz SSR-nin bir tərkibi idik, xaricə getmək mümkün olmasa belə, Rus dilində belə bir söz vardı, inagorodnik deyirdilər. Bilmirəm, indi Rus dilin burada, yəni ki, indiki gənclər, xüsusilə də Amerikada yaşayanlar Rus dilini bilmirlər, inagorodnik deyirdilər, yəni Azərbaycandan, şəhərlərindən qıraqda ölkə deyə bilmirdilər, şəhərdən kənarda, xarici şəhərlərdə təhsil alan gənclər deyirdilər. Bunun bünövrəsi Heydər Əliyevin Azərbaycanda Sovet dövründə Azərbaycana rəhbərlik etdiyi dövrdə başlamışdı. Qoyulmuşdu və o dövrdə belə bir məsələ var idi. Azərbaycandan SSR-nin müxtəlif respublikalarına təhsil almağa gedirdilər. O təhsil aldıqdan sonra öz ölkələrinə Azərbaycana qayıdırdılar və öz təcrübələrin Azərbaycanda işləyərək öz töhfələrini verirdilər. Yəni heç kim deyə bilməz ki, hətta Amerika kimi inkişaf dünyanın qabaqcıl ölkəsində yaşayırsınız. Heç kim deyə bilməz ki, dünyanın bütün sahələrində təhsil almaq Amerikada ən yaxşısıdır. Elə sahələr var ki, Almaniyada, elə sahələr var ki, Birləşmiş Krallıqda təhsil almaq daha yaxşıdır və elə sahələr var ki, Amerikada daha yaxşıdır və bu günlərim Azərbaycan dövləti artıq illərdir, 20 ildən çoxdur ki, xaricə, yəni müstəqillik dövründən bu tərəfə 30 ildən çoxdur ki, Azərbaycandan dövlət hesabına xaricə tələbələr gedir. Mən inanıram ki, sizin içinizdə də dövlət hesabına burada təhsil alan tələbələrimiz var. Bu dövlətin gənclərə qayğısıdır və gənclər də bu qayğını, dövlətin onlara göstərdiyi diqqəti öz Azərbaycan üçün Azərbaycanı təbliğ etməklə geri qaytarırlar. Məsələ ondan ibarət deyil ki, siz hamınız burada universiteti bitirdikdən sonra gəlib Azərbaycanda çalışacaqsınız. Bəli, dövlət proqramı ilə gedənlərə şərt var, amma burada dövlət proqramı ilə oxumayanlar da var. Şərt var, gəlib Azərbaycanda çalışmalıdırlar və onlara dövlət qurumlarında işə götürərkən çox böyük üstünlüklər verilir. Amma nə qədər xaricdə oxusaz da, mənim dövlət qurumunda işləmək təcrübəmdən deyirəm, Azərbaycanla əlaqələrinizi bir o qədər sıx tutmalısınız. Çünki o əlaqələr qopduqda, yəni Azərbaycana döndükdə, yəni bu təhsil aldığınız müddətdə Azərbaycanla əlaqələrinizi xüsusilə sıx tutmalısınız. Çünki o əlaqələr qopduqdan sonra gəlib Azərbaycana uyğunlaşmaq daha çətin olur sizin üçün. Və bu əlaqələrin qopması, saxlanılması nə deməkdir? Bu günlərim, bəli, Amerika kimi ölkədə bizim cəmi 3 diplomatik nümayəndəliyimiz var. Vaşinqtonda bizim səfirliyimiz var. New Yorkda BMT yanında daimi nümayəndəliyimiz var və Kaliforniyada, Los Angelesdə bizim baş konsulluğumuz var. Amma siz mütəmadi olaraq öz həyatınızda Azərbaycanla bağlı həqiqətləri, hər gündəlik həyatınızda, təhsil aldığınız müəssisələrdə, yaşadığınız mühitdə Azərbaycanı təbliğ etməlisiniz. Çünki, yəni, belə deyim, vətənsiz insan, yəqin ki, mən də xaricdə yaşamışam müəyyən müddət, təxminən bir 6 ilə yaxın. Adam nə qədər xaricdə yaşayırsan yaşa, hamımızın bir ingiliscədə identity'si var da, biz hamımız Azərbaycanlıyıq. Və Azərbaycanı nə qədər gözəl təbliğ eləsək, o qədər Azərbaycanımız da daha çox inkişaf eləyəcək. O qədər sizin töhfəniz bu günlərim Azərbaycana bundan ibarətdir. Və bugün siz gənclərsiniz, biz keçən il Amerikada komitədə müəyyən qədər bir dəstək olmuşdu. Komitənin dəstəyi ilə San Fransiskoda, daha doğrusu belə deyək də, Berkeley Universitetində Azərbaycanlı alimlərin toplantısını keçirmişdik və bugünkü sizin mövzularınızdan biri də bu diasporun inkişafı, yəni gənclərimizin Azərbaycana töhfəsi, bu istiqamətdə siz danışıqlar aparacaqsınız. Yəni, bu onu göstərir ki, siz bugün tələbəsiz, gənclərsiniz, amma 10 ildən sonra hərəniz müxtəlif aparıcı istiqamətlərdə fəaliyyət göstərəcəksiniz və yenə də Azərbaycan üçün çalışmalı olacaqsınız. Yəni, bundan qaçış yoxdur sizin üçün, bunu deyim mən sizə. Mən çox şadam ki, bu günlərim bizim burada həm, belə deyim, yaşlı nəsil deməzdim, amma Amerikada uzun müddət yaşayan nəslimizin nümayəndələri, elə ən başda Samir bəy, Fərid bəy, Mehriban xanım olmaqla, bu günlərim onların biz köməkliyi ilə bu tədbir eləyirik, amma bəlkə də bir 10 ildən sonra bu zalda oturanlar dəstəyi ilə başqa tədbirlər eləyəcəyik. Biz son illər ərzində daha ixtisaslaşmış toplantılara üstünlük veririk. Məsələn, həkimlərimizin toplantısını keçiririk. Həm Amerikada, həm Avropada yaşayan həkimlərimizin toplantısını keçirmişik. Mühəndislərin toplantısını keçirmişik Avropada yaşayan. Bir neçə gündən sonra biz San Fransiskoya gedəcəyik. Nurlan bəy köməkliyi ilə orada bizim IT texnologiyalar sahəsində çalışan Azərbaycanlılarımızla xüsusi bir görüşümüz olacaq. Bilirsiniz ki, təxminən bir aydan biraz artıq bir müddət əvvəl Azərbaycan Respublikasının prezidenti cənab İlham Əliyev bütün dövlət qurumları qarşısında müasir texnologiyaların fərqi yoxdur. Yəni, belə baxanda siz fikirləşə bilərsiniz ki, Diaspora Komitəsinin müasir texnologiyalara nə aidiyyəti var. Amma müasir texnologiyalardan bütün dövlət qurumlarında istifadə olunması, işin optimallaşdırılması baxımından və hətta qurumların daxilində bu sahəyə cavabdeh olan şəxslərin təyin olunması ilə bağlı bir tapşırığı olmuşdu. Və biz bir neçə gün sonra San Fransiskoda ayın 14-də orada IT sahədə çalışan Azərbaycanlılarımızla görüşəcəyik. Onların fəaliyyəti ilə maraqlanacağıq. Bu günlərim Azərbaycan dövləti güclü bir dövlətdir. Həqiqətən də mən bayaq dedim, siz xoşbəxt gəncliksiniz. Çünki siz tam müstəqilliyi əldə etmiş, tam suverenliyin əldə etmiş, regionda və dünyada öz sözünü deyə bilən bir dövlətin gənclərisiz, dövlətin vətəndaşlarısınız və bu cür gənclər olaraq yetişirsiniz. Yəni, bu gənclik Azərbaycanın gələcəyidir. Fərqi yoxdur, siz Azərbaycanda olacaqsınız, Amerikada olacaqsınız. Bugün artıq dünya elə kiçilib ki, biz dünən gəlmişik bura. Yəni, 4-5 gün ərzində Amerikanın bu başından o başına kimi 4 görüş keçirməyi planlaşdırırıq. Yəni, dünya artıq o qədər kiçilib ki, fərqi yoxdur. Xüsusilə də bu pandemiyadan sonra hamı evdən işləmək belə bir dəb düşübdür. Yəni, hamı evindən işləyib, işlərini görə bilir. Mən sizin foruma uğurlar arzulayıram. Mənim üçün çox maraqlıdır. Bizim gənclər, biz forumun təşkili məsələsində də çalışdıq ki, çox müdaxilə eləməyək, yalnız qıraqdan dəstək verək. Çünki bizim üçün maraqlıdır, gənclər özləri, öz forumlarını təşkil eləsinlər. Özlərinlə bağlı məsələləri qaldırıb və həlli yollarını da sizdən eşitmək bizim üçün çox önəmlidir. Ona görə bir daha sizin foruma uğurlar arzulayıram. Sizin hamınızı bir yerdə görməyə çox şadam. Mən bildiyim, sabah sizin bir qısa gəzintiniz də olacaq Chicago'da. Mən özüm hələ gəzə bilməmişəm. Maraqlı gəlir mənə, çünki birinci dəfədir mən də Chicago'da olam. Yəqin ki, əksəriyyətiniz bu. Yəni, Chicago'dan gələnləri çıxmaq şərti ilə əksəriyyətiniz birinci dəfədir. Həm, belə deyim də, həm ziyarət, həm ticarət. Xoş gəlmişsiniz, siz də, biz də. Bir daha təşkilatçılara təşəkkürümü bildirirəm, sizə də uğurlar arzulayıram. Çox sağ olun.
Thank you very much, Mr. Şəlaliyə, for your heartwarming speech. This truly means a lot of us. Your speech, and the entire committee of Diaspora Committee of Azerbaijan, their help, their assist with us, with youth. We always appreciate that. It means a lot for us. And if I may, I'd like to express a few words in Azerbaijani and join you with that. Ərşad müəllim, təşəkkür edirəm gözəl nitqinizə görə. Sizlər hər zaman bizim bütün layihələrimizdə, tədbirlərimizdə yanımızdasınız, bizə böyük dəstək göstərirsiniz. Sizə minnətdaram, Səlhət xanım sizə minnətdaram, Zahar bəy sizə minnətdaram göstərdiyiniz dəstəklərə görə. Bizə Azərbaycandan salamlar çatdırdınız, cənab Fuad Muradovdan salamlar çatdırdınız. Biz də burada Azərbaycan gəncləri və ümumiyyətlə bu zalda əyləşən Azərbaycanlılar sizdən xahiş edirik, bizim ən isti salamlarımızı bizim doğma yurdumuza, Azərbaycanınıza çatdırasınız. And now we invite from the Embassy of the Republic of Azerbaijan to the United States, Second Secretary Fatma Yolcheva.
Əziz gənclər, bizim tələbələr, Amerikada yaşayan Azərbaycanlılar, hər birinizi xoş gördük, salamlayıram sizi. Mən Amerikada təzəyəm və sizlərlə hələ bizim tanışmaq, uzun-uzun müzakirə aparmağa imkanımız və vaxtımız kifayət qədər olacaq. Mən şadam ki, mən bu günləri bura dəvət olunmuşam və sizinlə bir yerdəyəm. İcazənizlə mən itkimi ingilis dilində davam etdirmək istəyərdim. Dear youth, students, revered guests and esteemed colleagues. Today, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the students, young professionals, specialists who have achieved great success in their respective fields, and colleagues participating in this forum as well. Dear Tahir, Mr. Tahir, and dear Said Ali. And I also extend my heartfelt appreciation to Azerbaijan's State Committee on Work with Diaspora, the Alliance of Azerbaijani-American Organizations, and the Azerbaijan Center of Midwest America for bringing us together today. This is already the third Azerbaijani-American Youth Forum, and the title of this year's event tells us a great deal, from dialogue to action. We must admit that in today's world, where intolerance between nations and religions is increasing, artificial intelligence-based disinformation is rapidly spreading, and unfortunately ongoing conflicts continue without end. There is a great need for dialogue. And as a diplomat, and I guess my colleagues will agree with me, I must admit that achieving such dialogue is not an easy process. Because yet even more difficult is taking action after this kind of dialogues in order to accomplish meaningful work and achieve great and positive results. Today, I can confidently say that Azerbaijani youth living in the United States have long since moved into action toward developing bilateral relations, cooperating with diverse communities in America, and achieving institutional outcomes, and there are already results worth to be shown. Today, the number of Azerbaijani youth studying and conducting research at prestigious universities across the United States exceeds 1,000. And they are not occupied solely with their routine academic concerns. They have established more than 10 youth and student organizations in America, hold various forums and gatherings, engage in dialogue with representatives of other nations, and promote Azerbaijan's cultural heritage, historical truths, and national interest during important international observances. In short, our youth present Azerbaijan in America. For this reason, dear fellows, I believe I can name you as a young diplomats, because in places where we diplomats can't reach or engage or participate, it is you who represent our country, Azerbaijan. I have personally witnessed this and must confess that I have both been inspired and learned from the work you all do. For this, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you, personally from me and from my colleagues working in embassy. And speaking of the embassy, today I also saw young friends in this hall who have completed internships in our embassy and those who are currently continuing them. For many years, Azerbaijan's embassy in America has offered internship programs to our youth, and staying true to this tradition, I invite you all to benefit from this experience as well. You may also contact our embassy for organizational support or materials relating to your various events. However, the support you provide to us is greater than the support we provide to you. This is indeed the case, because you are the heroic soldiers of the ongoing information war. Not long ago, you were sending numerous protest letters and launching petitions in response to the New York City Mayor's Mamdani's statements against Azerbaijan and Turkey, and most importantly, against historical truths. It was just one of the hundreds of examples I could state and mention. The highest example, however, is that Azerbaijani youth restored a truth and territorial integrity that international community had been unwilling to accept. As you know, after the Second Karabakh War, Azerbaijan became the author of the peace agenda in the region, following the August 8, trilateral summit held in Washington, advancing U.S.-Azerbaijan relations and promoting Azerbaijan's peace initiatives, also one of the main tasks of the U.S. sitting here. Because unlike Turkey and Pakistan and our other friends, not everyone desires the establishment of the peace in the region, and there are many forces in America that oppose it. And it is no secret that one of them are living Dashnaks and revanchist groups in United States. America, we continue initiatives, and they oppose this kind of initiatives. And these initiatives aimed against our country, against peace in the region, and against U.S.-Azerbaijan relations. Earlier, I called you as a young diplomat, but you are also young fighters who help repel baseless accusations directed against Azerbaijan, fulfill a mission of digital citizenship, bring Azerbaijan's voice of the tourist to the international community, and build a front against disinformation. Azerbaijan's approach is that peace is ensured not only through the political and legal agreements, but also through accepting historical truths, abandoning accusations toward each other, and building bridges between people. And the main characters, architects of this bridge are youth. Today we are witnessing the growing role of participation of young people in international relations, cross-border and cultural ties, special monitoring events, intercommunal relations, and dialogue. I call upon all the young people participating here, please actively take part in global forums holding in America, initiatives promoting peace, events organized by think tanks and international organizations, intercommunal gatherings and dialogue initiatives, and become the voice of Azerbaijan and the Turkic world. Because your role is not limited to advocacy alone. You are the driving force behind these processes and the future of Azerbaijan as well. At the same time, the achievements and skills you gain in America in fields such as artificial intelligence, biochemistry, IT, genetics, international law, and others serve as a window for the generations that will come after you in Azerbaijan. I encourage you to achieve even greater success in your respective fields, dear youth, to integrate into local society while representing our country at the highest levels, to contribute to the comprehensive development of U.S.-Azerbaijan relations, and to support our country's independent foreign policy agenda. Today, it is truly a source of pride for me to meet you, to meet Azerbaijani young people, Azerbaijani students here from different states and universities across the United States who have achieved a remarkable success at a time when assimilation policies are being stronger and you are delivering barriers of our national memory, historical truths, and national identity. Just as this forum helps strengthen solidarity among our youth and promotes inclusive dialogue with the youth of other countries, it also gives us the opportunity to learn from you. I am confident that by the conclusion of this forum, which is a productive agenda, we will gain new knowledge and benefit from the experiences of the great experts. New friendships, remarkable initiatives, and new ideas for the great achievements will emerge among our youth. Always continue developing yourselves and don't hesitate to seek advice from us in this direction. I believe my colleagues will agree with me that diplomats are not only skilled negotiators, but also people who offer valuable guidance. I express my deep gratitude to each of you and wish you success in your studies, in your work, and your future activities. Thank you so much.
A heartful thank you to all our speakers.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your wonderful speech, Fatma Khanım. Before we introduce our very distinguished guests, I'd like to announce that according to our agenda, we're going to have panel discussions later on. So, dear guests, we'd really appreciate if you adjust your speech accordingly. Thank you very much. With that said, going next, we invite to the stage Turkish Consul General in Chicago, Mr. Tahir Bora Atatanır.
Günaydın. Hayırlı sabahlar. Ferit Bey ile konuştuk dün. Dedim ki nece konuşalım? Türkçe mi konuşalım? İngilizce mi konuşalım? Ferit Bey dedi ki nasıl isterseniz gerekirse yardımcı oluruz. Dedim ki ben kendi kendime yardım edeyim. İngilizce hazırladım. So I'll do my best in English anyway. We had spoken yesterday with Mr. Ferit that how what will be the language in just the speaker's language. He mentioned that you can speak in Turkish, Azeri, which I am not good at, or English, and he mentioned that it has two pillars. I mean, the Youth Forum, Azerbaijani and American. So I decided to just speak in English, and I got the warning from our moderator that I should be just short, I guess, according to your agenda. I'll do my best. Distinguished representatives of Embassy of Azerbaijan are my esteemed colleague from Pakistani Consulate, Honorable Deputy Chairman of the State Committee, esteemed members of Azerbaijan Center of Midwest America, ACMA, dear young brothers and sisters, I greet you all with love and respect. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today as part of Azerbaijani-American Youth Forum. As I begin my remark, I would like to speak about the bond of brotherhood that is unique in the world, which is the Turkish-Azerbaijani bonds. As the late Haydar Aliyev eloquently put, that we are children of two brotherly nations molded by the motto, as you all know, one nation, two states, bir millet, iki devlet. This unshakable bond between Turkey and Azerbaijan is not merely a political alliance. It is a union of hearts with roots reaching deep in history. Just as during a glorious patriotic war in Karabakh, Turkey, both as state and as nation, has stood by Azerbaijan with all its strength and heart, and will continue to do so at all spheres. As the great poet Bahtiyar Vahapzadeh said, we are two sons of one mother. Our religion, our language, our love, and our path are one. The unity we display here today is a reflection of this ancient friendship across the ocean. While being here with our youth, I would like to remind that the calendar is approaching very significant milestone to Turkey. In 10 days, we will be celebrating May the 19th, the commemoration of Atatürk Youth and Sports Day. Gazi Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, our founder of modern Turkey, entrusted this historic day, the start of nation's rebirth, to the youth, stating that all my hope lies in the youth. In Atatürk's vision, youth is not just a concept defined by age. It represents innovative thinking, determination, and the promise of bright future. The energetic crowds that I see here and is a living proof that vision will be just, within the Turkic world. Dear young friends, diaspora work is not just a social activity, it's a national duty. Here, you represent not only yourselves, but a noble culture and deep-rooted civilization. By preserving your cultural identity while taking on leadership roles within American society, you will also further strengthen the solidarity of the Turkic world. Our unity is our strength. This chain of solidarity, stretching from the shores of Caspian to the heart of Anatolia, and from there to center of America here in Chicago, will give us a greater voice in global area. Your leadership will be the strongest link in this chain. I would like to express my gratitude to the management of Azerbaijan Center of Midwest America, ACMA, primarily Mr. Ferit and Mr. Mehriban Mehmedov, and to everyone contributed to this organization for bringing this vision to life and gathering us together under this roof. I follow ACMA's activities with great admiration. I believe that that interesting in youth is just great investment in the future. I wish for the Azerbaijani-American Youth Forum a great success. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate you in advance on the upcoming Azerbaijani Independence Day, Müstekallik Günü on May 28. Yolumuz açık, birliğimiz daim olsun. Teşekkürler.
Thank you, Mr. Consul General. As an appreciation for your time and effort and for your wonderful speech, I'd like to invite to stage Mr. Ferdi Mehmedov to award you with a gift. Thank you.
Tahir Bey and the Turkish consulate, it's like always they support us, and I would like to say our thank yous for your support and being always with us, and that's our appreciation for it. Thank you.
Teşekkür ederim. Sonunda. İyi ki varsınız.
Yes.
Yes.
Attention. Thank you so much.
İyi ki varsınız. Sağ olun.
And finally, we invite to stage Deputy Consul General of Pakistan in Chicago, Mr. Syed Ali.
So I'll try to be even brief as per your advice. So, dear Deputy Chairman of the State Committee of Azerbaijan to work with the diaspora, and the leadership of ACMA and Alliance of Azerbaijan-American Organizations, and my honorable colleague, Consul General of Turkey here in Chicago, Mr. Tahir, and dear colleague from Azerbaijani Embassy in Washington, D.C. So it's my distinct pleasure to be here, to be part of, Azerbaijan-American Youth Forum 2026. I think it's and last of all, I think I just, forgot to mention the young leaders who are present here for whom this forum is organized. So it's great to be with you. And first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Farid Mamdov and his significant other, who is not only beautiful, but also, I think, talented. So who have, put together this program and invited us to be part of this forum. I would say that, let's start from that, Pakistan and Azerbaijan, they enjoy cordial, brotherly, and friendly relations, like we have, relations with Turkey. Rather, as you said that, one nation and two cultures or two countries, so I would say that one nation and three countries. We can say that. So for the young leaders, I think I would first of all like to mention that, people who achieved a lot at young age, I mean, if you go through history, Alexander the Great, I think at 33 or 32, he had the largest empire of the world. Napoleon and Muhammad bin Qasim, who came to, the region which is now Pakistan, to basically, Karachi, and Islam spread to this South Asian subcontinent and he was around just 17 years old at that time. So why it is important that, they were able to make an impact on history? Because they have energy. That is the main thing. And obviously, if they are prepared to do something, so it is very important that young people have the energy to, influence or impact on the events in the world. But at the same time, they have to be prepared to face those challenges, prepare themselves, how they can prepare themselves, because we are at sort of crossroads of technological transformation because of the AI revolution also, but we have to, sift facts from the fiction. That's very important. And that can only be done, I mean, in my opinion, personal opinion, that we have to read. As much we would read, because reading is important in a way that it gives you synthesis of information or experience of many years, decades. Basically, some author who has written a book, so he brings together a lot of experience, which we cannot experience ourselves. So, and he or she, they present basically synthesis of all that, what are the lessons. So that, basically prepares us. And the second thing is obviously connections, networking, and this is the opportunity that you have. So once we are networking with each other, it's not only that making friends, you have to share value with others, people whom you meet, and that we can only do once we have something. So we have to prepare ourselves, and I'm sure the Azerbaijani youth is making a large impact, in basically even sort of contributing towards their own country and representing the Azerbaijani culture in the best possible manner here in the United States. And I would like to thank again ACMA and the other organizations who have organized such a forum. This is a great opportunity for you to learn and be ready to face the challenges. I think these 2 days should be also for you to network with each other, know each other, what other people are doing, and learn as much as you can. So all the best for your future. Thank you so much.
Would you hold for a minute, sir? Thank you, Mr. Saeed Ali, for your absolutely wonderful speech. And I completely agree personally with the part saying that we're three brothers. Wonderful speech. Once again, I would love to introduce Mr. Ferdi Mehmedova, Mehriban Mehmedova to the stage to introduce you as our appreciation, a little gift from us. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank you, Brother Saeed Ali, because he always support us. During the last 2-3 years, we are often talking to him, and he and the Pakistan consulate is always helping support an Azerbaijani community here. And I would like to thank you for you, and thank you always appreciation, and this is our appreciations to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
A heartfelt thank you to all our speakers. So, young voices of future leaders, let's reflect on the memorable moments, meaningful connections, and achievements on the first and second Azerbaijan-American Youth Forums.
Tədbirlərə çox böyük ehtiyac var. Seminarlar oldu və panellər. Ən maraqlı amma sonda olan brain-ring müsabiqəsi oldu.
Həqiqətən də çox bəyəndim.
memorable moments as a participant in both first and second, and absolutely lucky to be here today as your host on third Forum of Azerbaijan-American Youth here in the United States. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our first panel discussion? So let's begin. Panel 1, Voices of Experience, Stories and Struggles of Youth. Pardon me. Well, we have struggles. As you can see, I have a little struggle myself reading. Yeah. Stories and Strategies for Youth. This panel brings together distinguished diaspora leaders to share their experiences, insights, and strategies to inspire the next generation of Azerbaijani-American youth to grow, lead, and take action. The panel will be moderated by Kenan Abdiyev. Let's warmly greet our panelists. Mehriban Mehmedova, Dr. Shirin Kazımov, Leyla Membedli, and Nurlan Şükür.
Good morning, everyone. I want to start with thanking to the presenters. Thank you for the nice introduction. My name is Kenan Abdiyev, and I'm here to moderate our first panel today. And I think it's the right way to start our panel with these discussions, because we need some people, we need hear stories from the people who built their careers in the foreign country, but stay connected to their national communities. So let me introduce our distinguished panelists. Next to me sitting Mehriban Mammadova. She is co-president of the Azerbaijan Center of Midwest America, and she does profound work in the community building. Next to her, Dr. Shirin Kazimov. He's a clinical psychologist. He based in Chicago, and he does work in the medicine. Next to him, Leyla Mamadli. Leyla Mamadli is co-founder and CEO of Cultural Diplomacy and Development Foundation. She also does incredible work in the community building. And last but not least, Nurlan Şükürlü. He is senior software test engineer, and also he is president of Azerbaijan Cultural Society of Northern California. So since we have very limited time, I ask dear distinguished guests to keep their answers short. And they didn't put there, but I'm a lawyer, so you should know I'm really good at interrupting people when they speak. So, and at the end, have Q&A session. I will take the discussion to the audience, and we will take some questions. So let me, to not waste the time, let's dive into the questions. The first question I'm gonna ask is about your career. So what brought you to where you are today, and what almost stopped you? Of course.
So again, my name is Mehriban. So I am the Vice President of Azerbaijani Center of Midwest America, the first organization, Azerbaijani community organization that I founded in Midwest area in 2015. So what brought me here, well, in general, what brought me to career or to the United States?
You can go.
Okay, so I'll just talk about a little bit about United States, how I came to the United States. So I was 19 years old when I moved to the United States, when my father got a diversity lottery selection. So we didn't even know, we didn't even realize that my sister filled out the application for us. So I came here. Obviously, it was my dream to come to this country and study. However, it wasn't easy when I came here and start everything from scratch. So basically, juggling between the jobs, learning the English, and at the same time, I was admitted to law school in Baku State University. So it was extremely challenging for me. I had to travel back and forth. Meanwhile, I need to be here. So it was one part that it was very challenging for me. However, I tried to move forward. I tried the different fields. I've worked in the law field for over 10 years, specifically in immigration field. I tried the IT field for a couple of years. I also been in real estate investment, so and an business owner. So what I'm trying to say that many challenges, you know, exhaustion and bills, responsibility, it didn't stop me. So my mindset was that, you know, I have to succeed. So this motivated me keep going. So yeah, thank you.
Please, no need to applaud. You can applaud at the end of the discussion because I want to hear my guests. So you can go, Leila Khanum.
I'm sure you guys are better in AI than we are, but anyway, so we are going there. Well, thank you so much for having us here and for organizers, state committee, and our distinguished guests, diplomats here, and our great and bright students and diaspora leaders. It's great, distinguished to be back here after a decade. It's just a great experience, and I've seen some friends here, such as Hukuma and others. It's just great that such networks indeed are great to get again to know each other and to project. So what brought me back here, after being already back in Azerbaijan and after graduating my Johns Hopkins degree size, I was a state scholarship. It was an honor to represent Azerbaijan both in America and in Azerbaijan, and also a decade working in the SOCAR and the leading Azeri Youth Alliance and being one of the board members of Ireli movement. It was a great honor to be back as a green card holder and also the PhD student. And while being back in the 2 years, I decided why not actually being the part of the community and pursuing the cultural diplomacy and development and starting a brand new NGO rather than just being part of the diaspora, but also being part of the community in international and educational level. So after so many professional years being back here as a PhD student and as a co-founder of the Cultural Diplomacy and Development, it's just a great honor to represent Azerbaijan, Azerbaijani values, and being part of the diaspora. And thanks for having us. Thank you.
Any other thoughts? Do you have any other thoughts?
Hi everybody, my name is Shirin Kazimov and I'm from Baku and I've been in the US since 2013. I came for grad school and since then I stayed here and I continue working between basically two countries. So the way I would answer the question, just maybe, it's a long story, just to say the very short version, but it was never one event in life. It was a journey of basically discovering who I am, what I want in life, and how I want to be useful to other people. And for that, it included relationships, very important, meaningful relationships in my life, which is family, friends, teachers, mentors, therapists, people who really loved and accepted me, people who challenged me, encouraged me, spoke truth into my life that actually shaped me in a way who I am right now. And also in addition, what helped me is trying to serve communities or be in the communities that matter to me. And because serving a community, being in a community or serving a community or serving somewhere, it's not only about giving something, it's also about being impacted or allowing to be impacted and being transformed by other people by other groups of people. What made it difficult at times was health or health-related challenges or the limitations of my body, like it's funny, ironical today as well. Which actually taught me a very important lesson that we do need to take care of our bodies. We do need ambitions. Ambitions are good. It's like really working, strive and do all these things is really good. But we do not need to forget about our bodies, about our minds and souls, because in some ways, in order to live a meaningful life, we cannot neglect the person who actually is trying to build that life, if it makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for real thoughtful comments, but I think we should touch the success topic, because I think you're really successful people, but sometimes successful people are trying to be isolated. They forgot where they start. So what kept you connected to Azerbaijani community? And why does it matter? So is that important to be connected to your own community, and why is it important?
Absolutely. I can tell about that. So first of all, thank you for the invitation. Being here is great honor, and I work in tech and the Silicon Valley company. But however, some people don't know that I work in the tech. I involved to the community work a lot, so people thinking that it's my full-time job. Interestingly, and I really enjoy making, to your question, connecting people, networking, and especially youth to the wisdom generation. And at the end of the event, we are seeing how people getting connected to each other. It's really very satisfied. And after the, for example, events, we did 1,200 people involved to Nowruz event, and with American local people, with Turkic communities. We felt very proud, and we have also some of organizers here, our secretary, and we were everything there. We know all of our people did the same. We were designer, we were logistic person, we did everything. After that, we see success and our kids performing on the stage, and such a proud for us. That, I think, brought us to community to feel proud with our identity. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's actually a very good point, as you mentioned, that majority of the youth, specifically here in America, get very isolated easily, and it's kind of, it should be like kind of someone who has to push or like a values, and those values are really important. I have to say that what kept me connected was a realization that identity is not something that to leave behind to succeed, but at least what gives success is meaning. So it means remaining rooted to your language, to your culture, to your music, to your hospitality, to your family values, to your country, and also using all this beautiful culture as a building the bridges between Azerbaijan and USA. So it's like even being rooted to our favorite cuisine, like even having this dolma, it makes your identification who you are. It's perfectly perfect to be proud of it, to be part of the culture and to preserve it with identity and with the proud.
Another thoughts? Yeah, please.
So I'd also like to emphasize that, helping and supporting community, it became kind of my hobby, and I truly enjoy it. And in 2011, I just want to point out this. In 2011, I had my first event at the School of Law, Loyola, Chicago, where I studied. I did my master's degree. So this actually made me feel so honored that I'm representing Azerbaijan, and I was grateful that the former ambassador of Azerbaijan, Elin Süleymanov, attended that event, and that created a memory in me, and it just made me feel so proud. And going forward, I thought, this is something that I need to start, And then meanwhile, I was working at the law firm. So with the help of attorneys at that time, I was able to organize the Azerbaijani Center, the first organization. So I thought this is something that I need to do to support the community. And the reason I thought about it, it's just because first time when I came to this country in 2005, I did not have any support. I didn't know anyone. So there was no real social media that I was aware of that I could connect with Azerbaijani community. So this is something that make you creative and connecting with the community. So as you mentioned, it's always good to be connected to community and share the values, support each other. Yeah.
Thank you for the thoughtful comments again. Leyla Hanım talked about the values. So that discussion, that comment brings me to the question about values. So as you know, we Azerbaijani people care about values. It's part of our identity. So what do you think about the next generation of Azerbaijani Americans? What one was one part of our identity you hope they never lose?
I'm just thinking about, this is really wonderful things people have said. I'm thinking about there are so many parts of our culture of our identity that we carry with ourselves. I guess I choose one part is hospitality, That's something that often people in America tell me, oh, you're so hospitable. And I think that there's something about this very important value that we have. It's not just about food, tea, it's not just about welcoming somebody in their homes. This is really beautiful parts of hospitality. But what I mean, the deeper spirit of hospitality, that we know what it is we carry, which is being able to notice other people, being able to make room for other people, and being able to just make them feel that they matter. And I think, I hope that this is the value that we continue to get grounded or connected with, that we all carry in ourselves, and bring it here when we live here. So that's what we can give to the American society, and obviously to American Azerbaijanis, and while learning something else in return.
Perfect, thank you. I would love to also add one thing. Definitely hospitality is a main thing that is part of our community and the culture, and we have to be very proud of representing who we are and our culture, our music, our food, but also the personality behind that. What shapes actually Azerbaijan is actually believe in our history, believe in our culture, in our state, and also heroism is actually coming, like being a powerful, like a woman being a powerful, and the fighting shoulder to shoulder with a man together. Like all this powerness is actually coming from the centuries always, right? As Nigar mentioned, like majority of us who came here first time, we didn't know anyone and stuff, but we started to building our community. And here definitely the power. And in my case, for example, I am the woman and the mom of 2 kids. It was a little bit challenging too. I'm sure we're gonna talk about this part, but it never stopped me to work more and to study more, to educate and specifically represent, because each of us here as an ambassador actually of our cultures here. So maybe some of our student friends, some of our community friends never ever heard about Azerbaijan. I'm sure you also guys would agree with that. So you have to represent Azerbaijan, your culture, your cultural ambassadors, or each of you, and each of you are really, really valuable in this community. You have to know that and always be presentable, smiling, because it's also part of our hospitality and the nice and the kind. Thank you.
Just to add the one point that we can think that one person, what we can do as a one person. We have been a lot of festivals in California, in Chicago area. Maybe you have heard that they're approaching us, Azerbaijan. Oh, I know the country. From YouTube, the man saying super, or another two, one lady and one old man showing our food there. And yes, that's Azerbaijan, how we are showing our culture. From YouTube, 5 million subscribers they have. Another way how we can, and I remember 2020, and it's February Khojaly massacres, we were that time honoring, and one of our 5 friends, we were in San Francisco, and that was COVID time, very hard time. It's already starting, February 26th. We were there, one person, and on the street with the one man standing and written there, today, for example, 25 kids lost both of their parents. And they were approaching us and asking, what happened? We said, this happened 1992, not today. And we are giving them one brochure about Khojaly. And we cannot say that one person cannot do anything. 5 people standing each of the area, and they showing the wood banner with written just cardboards, right? And it's written with Sharpies, right? And that's one simple things we can do as one person. Thank you, and keeping our values to your question.
Thank you for really valuable comments. And I want to quote someone who's really valuable for me, Ambassador Khazar Ibrahim. He told me, I want to add this comment because I think it's really relevant. He told me one time the Azerbaijanis, every Azerbaijani is sample of the Azerbaijan community. So I think I agree with you. Like every Azerbaijani, most importantly, the young people should represent Azerbaijan with proud. So at this point, I want to take the discussion to the audience. I wanna hear some questions. If you have a question, just raise your hand. I'm gonna pick you up.
Hello, everyone.
Please mention your name. Mention your name.
Yes, Tamerlan Agaev, third-year PhD student in AI over at Northeastern University in Boston. I'm going to set up the question, and it's going to be a two-part question pretty much. But I've been here since 2017, and when I just came in, I had a pretty clear idea of what success is. Finish classes, get good grades, make my mom and dad proud, make my country proud, and that's it. But the longer I went, the longer I realized that this definition of success was inherited. Maybe from culture, maybe from family, maybe from, the idea of what it takes to make it in America. Some people refer to it as an American dream. So I guess the question to the panelists is, how did your definition of success change since you say we're 20 years old, for example? And, what do you think is a stereotype, or what do you think is an advice you could give to the youngers to not get stuck up on the smaller details of, I need to be successful, I need to finish, and I need to do good, and just take a second, live in the moment, and understand, I'm here, this is what I wanted, and I'm working towards that goal. Thank you.
Okay, well, ladies first. I'll mention two parts. You have to always work on yourself, and success is always there. And I'm sure we have a specialist here, like a psychologist and the community leaders. So I will not I'm not going to talk of point of view psychologists, but I can give some personal experience from my own, what I've been mentioning, that it's definitely going to be ups and downs in your lifetime. That's normal. We are all human beings, okay? And there will be some overwhelming timing as well. Specifically, as I mentioned, I've been always saying that after having a really great career life and having my already degree from Johns Hopkins, I was like, and everyone was around, well, why you want to pursue PhD? Why do you want to come on the earth again to United States in a dismal marketing period we all know we're experiencing? But there was always a dream. Keep going, keep motivating yourself, and go after your dreams and build up better networking, more education, and build up, also represent your country. So in that point, stereotypes is always there, like why as a woman being and as a mom coming against. I have witnessed it myself. So always strive against stereotypes and forget about that. And the second part, keep going. So success is something that it's okay, just never give up and keep going. And there is a word from the Churchill, there is a saying that if you're going through the hell, keep going. So I would just say, keep going. Thank you.
Yeah, Tamilamba, that's a wonderful question, and it has changed for me over the years. And I think success is not just achievement, it's not just good grades, good degrees, and being a good son of your parents, and all those really important values, which I don't minimize. I think the most important part is to be grounded in who I am as a person. What is my purpose in life? What do I want in life? What makes me really want to live and thrive and connect with others? And this might be a lifelong question, but it's worth starting at some point, maybe at the same time when we're in school or before we go to school, because without that, it's really all the success that we achieve on paper, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, connecting with people is very important, and preferably with people who are different than me, that I can learn from. So I don't get closed by just staying with like-minded people, but also how can I learn to disagree? How I can learn to listen to somebody who is very different, or try to understand somebody and see life in different manifestations, and just the way I've gotten used to while I'm doing my schoolwork. So.
I will add to Shireen points that from my own experience, that having 2 law degrees and getting experience for 10 years in the law field, but then suddenly changing the field. So it's basically you are evolving, you're changing. So you basically want to go to the point that you want to be on this position that where you feel comfortable with. So go wherever you feel comfortable and succeed in that. Thank you.
Riyad, one quick note on that. We have a lot of students here as well. For them, being open for the feedbacks from anyone. It doesn't matter, from maybe 5 years younger than you, or maybe 5 years older than you. Just be open to feedbacks, and we can see from another side of the person's perspective. That will help us and personally helped me a lot. And being open to feedback. Okay, at the end we can do our own way, but being open is really helped a lot.
Thank you for your thoughts. I've been told we have one more question. Can I see the hand?
So I'm Elgün Tarverdiyev. I'm currently studying at University of Washington, Master of Science in Real Estate. So my question will be, you guys, thank you for being this panel, first of all. So I feel you guys already have some success to sit here. What advice will you give like to the young students? Like what things you've like you came down from before, like you guys will be happier that you have done before, or what things that kind of avoid?
Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
So what thing that you guys will be happy that you guys say that you would done before, what you guys would avoid to have a success?
As I worked with a youth, so I'll just take a lead if you don't mind. Kenan, I hope you don't mind being a lawyer too. And it's first of all, again, definitely as we mentioned, motivation and what we have went through. As my question, I just want to understand your question. So what you have to go through during your lifetime and what would be your suggestions, right? To make it easier and what you guys should do. Well, first of all, get networking. Make a lot of friends, and America is a great place of that. Make as many people as a being of Azerbaijan and as a being the part of your culture. And remember, being Azerbaijan is always a pride. Always say that you're proud of representing your country. Make a lot of friends with your cultures, with beautiful songs, with anything you're available. So first of all, making a friends in your society, in your community, in your university. And as the previous man said, that he's a PhD student, I'm sure he's going to be one of our favorite and the proud person in the future, you know. So it stops networking. So stop networking. You have to do more networking, as many networking, like America is about the networking. And the second thing I would really suggest all of you, beside the networking, also work on yourself. Get different educational trainings. Work on yourself daily basis. See what you can pursue more. What anything is, I don't know, for example, specifically some of our young, when I was at your age too, well, I'm a little bit older, like a decade ago, I was thinking, oh, I know so many things, I don't need to learn. But then you understand, no, you have to work on yourself, you have to study more, you have to take those courses or anything on leadership, AI and stuff. For example, I'm also taking AI courses, which is new for me. So keep building on yourself a lot. And one thing I would also suggest you, take volunteeringly, participate volunteeringly everywhere, anything, like, because we are a multicultural country, like it might be mosque, it might be church, it might be communities, it might be embassies. We have such a, you know, even in our events, we have a distinguished guest from like Pakistan and Turkey. Like, try to represent your culture, try to represent your community, also representing in different embassies, think tank level events, try to be the voice of all Azerbaijanis and tell the truth about your country and your community. So take a step. Don't be shy. Thank you.
Another thought? Do you have any other thoughts to add, or you can?
I can add.
Yeah, please.
Another thing you were asking about what to avoid. Avoiding burnout. That's really, we are studying or working, and burnout can really come at step that, you know, stage that we can feel we don't want to do anything. That time we need to rest, and then we can come back with the full energy. It really helps us. Also to find a hobby here, and volunteering and hobby helped us to avoid the burnout. And surprisingly, I started to drum nagara 1 year ago, and here in the United States, and then we went in Canada and we won first place between 69 countries. That was, I just started 1 year and with our group. Never is late to start new hobby, especially in America. That's one of the recommendation.
Thank you. So I think we can finish it here. I wanna say thank you to. Yep, please.
Just add something I think that's very important, is that, you know, a lot of people who are here and a lot of you here, you've been through very hard journeys to be here, which involved a lot of struggles, a lot of forthright, a lot of work, and a lot of intellect. I mean, working on the intellect, on studies, and just making it to come here. I guess one of my things that I took for myself in life is just, my encouragement is to invest in your emotional maturity, invest in your things that's called emotional intellect, that really helps you know who you are and how you engage with people in an authentic way that actually will help you be a better leader, not just skills of like learning how or getting degrees. It's just like who you are as a person, first of all. And second, another thing that I learned in life is that time is limited and we are limited as humans. And it's not to create an anxiety that, oh, we need to rush to achieve things. No, it's just to be realistic that I don't have energy or capacity for everything that I might want or that's interesting. So I guess I would think about, the colleagues are talking about volunteering or doing something. It's just to choose something that really is meaningful and invest in it, so that through that action of volunteering or contribution, you can connect, you can move from just attending events to participating and building something with other people together. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. And if there is no more comment, I'm gonna call it day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the stage with me. And I encourage all of you guys to ask questions even after our discussion, because they are really nice knowledgeable source. And thank you for listening.
Zəfərin səhifəsi İmzalanıb səsin ilə dünyanın ən xoş nəğməsi olsun igidlərin ilə.
Qədim məskən, müdrik diyar, səninlə yaşayır hər can. Gələcək nəsillər duyar qüvvətini. Azərbaycan, Azərbaycan.
Karimova from Powerbox LLC to lead the session, Discipline, Pressure, and Vision, Becoming the Main Character of Your Life.
Hello, hello. So great to be here. I'm so impressed by all the conversations and information shared, and I really love all the questions that were asked. And the organizers created this event in a very strategic way because we'll be answering some of those deep questions that you had about success, what that means, values, and how we move forward in life. So I have a slide, and Orhan, would you be able to put up the PDF? Is it possible to put up the slides? Thank you. Okay. So as they're working on the slides, I just want to say I'm so happy to be here. I'm Hükümet Kerimova, and I was born in Azerbaijan, and I moved here when I was 9, so I've spent a lot of my life here. And I wish when I was your age, I had the information and the tools and frameworks that I've gathered for the past decade of my life, and spent a lot of money gathering that, both through experiences and trainings. But today, you will get to have a chance to go through that process within the next hour or so. And in order for us to get started, I believe many of you have gift bags that have journals and possibly a pen. And it would be very helpful if you took it out, because we'll be jotting down some information. You will be jotting down some information about yourself. So, as the theme of the forum is moving from dialogue to action, becoming the main character of your one and precious life. That's the theme here, and becoming is not a static word, it's an active verb, and so this training is going to be less about me talking at you and more about you discovering your own inner world. And so, next slide. Yes, thank you. So the world needs you. Each of you, you come to this world with your own unique perspectives, your own heart message, and something that your soul wants to bring to this world. And the way the world is right now, we see that it's very stressful, very noisy, very expensive, very depressing at times. So no wonder Gen Z is so nostalgic about the 90s and the early 2000s. And millennials, I think, are also nostalgic about that, speaking for myself. So the information that we get here today is going to get you a more clear understanding of what motivates you. And those insights that you get will not only be applicable to your job search and what you do with your life, but you can also apply that to your relationships, whether it's with family, romantic, volunteer groups, because what you're going to do today is understand the core of yourself, your values, and what really drives you and motivates you. And because this is focused on the job market, I will share this information from that perspective. And speaking of the job market, how many of you are currently working or looking for work? If you could raise your hand. Okay, a good majority. So I don't need to tell you that the job market kind of sucks right now. In 2025, I'm going to share some statistics. There were 7.1 million jobs available, but in 2025, only 50,000 jobs came online. No, can we please go back to the second slide? Thank you. I'll say next. Appreciate it. So yeah, only 50,000 jobs were added, which means what? It's a very competitive market. The recruiters are overwhelmed getting a lot of information and having to sift through resumes. There are a lot of AI tools that make it hard to distinguish what is real from what is not. And so when you are applying for a job, you really need to shine, and you need to show that your values and your mission align with the company's mission. Why? Because no company wants to take you on board, spend thousands of dollars training you, raising your capacity, only for you to leave within a year or less, because then they lose a lot of money. And also, by knowing yourself and your values, you can really outshine the competition. Next, please. Thank you. So before I start sharing the tools, I want to explain who I am and why it might be worth listening to me. I'm Hüküme Kirimova. I'm currently the Sustainability Administrator at the City of Gaithersburg in Maryland. I work for the local government. And some of my hobbies are hiking, camping, nature, strategizing, and really inspiring positive impact and change. I have work experience doing project management and waste management in Ecuador, in the Amazonian jungle, working in St. Martin. I've coached entrepreneurs in France. I have also worked with rural empowerment in Azerbaijan. And I just love diversity and connection. So my values are authenticity, connection, and collaboration. By the way, who can share what values means to you? In your own words, if there are any thoughts. Yes.
I believe our homeland, our family, our roots, our values.
Yes. Things that are really important to us and close to our heart. Exactly. So these are the things that don't change as easily as our beliefs and attitudes. These are the core things that really direct our actions and thoughts. And they're usually developed when we're young, along with our identity. So speaking of my values, authenticity, connection, and collaboration, I'm going to show you some examples of how I've lived those values. Because values are not something that you just think about. This is something that you do. This is something that you speak and move. Yeah. Well, that's a lovely, lovely question, because in a few moments, all of you will be identifying your own values. And it's something that's very intuitive, and it's something that your soul and mind will pick up on right away. So you will go through that process in just a few minutes. Does that work? Awesome. Okay, so next, please. So this is me at the University of Maryland, where I did my undergrad in psychology. And as I mentioned to you, I love Azerbaijan. I spent my summers with my relatives in Gah. They have land, so I would grow up eating fresh tendir çöreği and butter. I would spend my summers in Bilge on the beach, and I just noticed that in our study abroad program at the University of Maryland, there were so many exotic places, but I didn't see Azerbaijan on the list. And I thought, I want to share my love for my country with other students. And so I helped put together a study abroad. I designed the whole process. I worked with Hazar University, and we had 3 specific courses that the students completed. So they got lots of credits for the study abroad. That was 2 weeks. And the classes focused on environment and modern ecological problems, because while Azerbaijan has a lot of beauty and natural resources, it's also important to protect it, which is something that we're doing now, but wasn't always the case in the past. And there's a quote from one of the attendees, Hafi Yilla. He said, "The trip was inspirational. I gained so much value on so many levels: cultural immersion, team building, educational and problem solving, and more." And I have to say that it's been a long time since I graduated, but to this day, a lot of the students that attended the program, both from the University of Maryland and the students, local students at Hazar University that were grouped with the students that came, they keep telling me that was such a memorable moment, and it's become a cornerstone of their identity and how they go through life. So it's very inspirational, and it just shows you that when you're passionate about something and you share it with others, they will remember it. Next slide, please. So after my undergrad, I completed my master's in sustainable development and corporate social responsibility. And after graduating, it was in Spain, and it was really fun. After graduating, my parents told me, okay, well, it's time to come home and, go the traditional route of finding a job, going to the office. And I was just not attracted to that. I really wanted to expand my horizons, explore more of the world, and I wanted to find something that would pay me to work on sustainability and make a change. And so it took me a while. Sometimes my parents said, maybe it's time for you to give up. It took me 4 months. I sent out 100+ cold emails. I had to join a lot of different job boards, post a lot of messages, meet with different individuals to get their inputs on if they know anyone that I can network with or they can refer me to. But luckily, I didn't give up because I was sure of what I wanted. And I landed this amazing opportunity of working with this Italian nonprofit, of implementing a waste management project in the Amazon, the Ecuadorian Amazon, working with the Achuar tribes. So I would fly into the Amazon for 2 weeks, maybe not 2 weeks, maybe 1 week. And then we would go into one community, we would set up our hammocks, I would sleep outside, we would work with them, educating them about waste management, because a lot of them, what they do is they fly into the city as they're Ecuadorian citizens, and the government pays for them to sell their crops in the city, and when they're selling that, they get money. And so with that money, they buy things such as Coca-Cola and batteries and medication. But because those items can be hazardous, like batteries, you don't want to just dispose of them, there were a lot of negative health effects that they were not aware. So the project was there to really raise their education about that and awareness. And it was for 6 months, and it was an amazing experience. Next, please. So this brings me to present day. Today, as I mentioned, I'm the Sustainability Administrator at the City of Gaithersburg in Maryland. I am so passionate about my job, and I am there to help create our strategic roadmap. It's called the Climate Action Plan, and this is a 15 to 20-year roadmap by which the city is going to meet its emission reduction goals while ensuring that we're protecting the natural resources of the city and ensuring that there's cross-departmental collaboration and that we're really creating a very thriving and resilient community for the years ahead. Next slide, please. So, as I mentioned, this training is not going to be me talking at you. but for me to help facilitate an environment where you can explore your own interests and passions. And hopefully, by the end of this session, you will have enough clarity, and that clarity will create alignment so that when you leave from here, you will know who you are, what you bring to the table, why people want you on their team, and you will also not just try to jump at any opportunity that comes to you or be swayed by what maybe your family or culture or society is telling you, but really stay the course and attract what speaks to your heart. Because when we don't live our values, we're not always happy. We feel stuck, depressed, and sad. But when we're living our values, people notice that because you shine and you're positive. And yes, I see a question. Yeah, well, I was always interested in cross-cultural psychology, understanding how people approach things differently based on their background and upbringing. And as I mentioned, I was always passionate about the environment. And so I was interested to know, how do we change human behavior so that we take something that's really precious, but we take it for granted and start protecting it. So I always knew that I wanted to focus on the environment. And psychology was just a tool that I would use to help make that happen. Thank you. So next slide, please. So the way we're going to discover your values and your passions, sorry, I'm really close to the microphone. The way we're going to discover your values and passions is through a 3-step process. So I'm going to share some tools and frameworks and ideas, and then we're going to break for an activity. And by break, I don't mean you stand up and leave. I just mean you take out your notebooks and you start writing, and we'll have some lo-fi music to help you concentrate. But the first step is understanding your motivation. Why do you do what you do? So a lot of the panel speakers talked about AI and the changing environment. You probably also know that it's very noisy and it can be very overwhelming out there in the world. And so while the technology is changing and the world of tomorrow is going to look much different than the world of today, which is already different from the world of yesterday, one thing that doesn't change is our brain and how it was evolved over millions of years, and how we take the stimulus that's coming from the external world, make meaning, and then act on it. And so that's good news, because it means that if you understand how you function, you can then reverse engineer that to your benefit. And so our information, it really impacts us on 2 levels: our decision making and action taking. And next slide, please. So as I mentioned, decision making happens through a hierarchical logical process. And by reverse engineering, by understanding what your goal is, you can then reverse engineer that process. Next slide, please. So this is a very important and helpful table, because it shows you that, you know, the last 2, the environment and behaviors, these are the visible things. We see how someone acts, where they're sitting, how they're talking, but we don't always understand what's happening internally to make that happen. And today we'll be diving into that. As I mentioned, the identity level takes a lot of time, maybe one-on-one coaching for several months to really get into, because it's about your influence from your parents and society. But the values is something that is much easier to identify. And one important thing to understand is that if you try to make a change at the lower level, it will not be sustainable and long-term. And that's because the way the hierarchy works is that the higher level is what organizes and controls the information at the lower level. And that's why today we're going to focus on the values. Next slide, please. So once you understand your values, you can also understand about the actions that you're taking or maybe not taking. And there's no linear line from today to the future. It really all depends about your alignment, how you're communicating, who are you talking to, who are you networking with, how brave you are with sharing your story and what you want, and then attracting those opportunities. They come to you naturally. And sometimes the reason we don't take action is because we're lacking clarity or information on a certain situation. So the next slide, before we jump into the first activity, is the 4 stages of learning. So our actions happen based on our level of awareness. And there are 4 key areas. There's unconscious incompetence, where you don't know what you don't know. So, for instance, if I ask you, what is the top food of France? Maybe it's crepes, maybe it's croissants, but you don't know what you don't know. So I don't know actually, maybe it is croissants. But at that level, the information is so out of your radar that you're not even thinking about it. Conscious incompetence is when someone asks you a question or you want to do something and you realize, wait, I don't have the tools or the information to make that happen. Let me go find out and gather that. And today, I think this forum serves to help you move from the second level of conscious incompetence to the third level, which is the conscious competence. And that's where you will gather the tools that I will share today. And you will leave today's session with a roadmap and a strategy of how you're going to find those jobs and opportunities. So as we jump into the first activity, we're going to look into your values. And why are values so important? It's because our values determine our preferences, they guide our choices, they influence our behavior, and they really determine what is our life's purpose. So as we jump into the next slide, which is where you're actually going to take out your journals and start writing, I wanted to invite each of you into a really interesting activity. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, no worries. But I thought that you've been very stimulated throughout the whole morning, and as we dive deeper into the internal world, it might be helpful to get some grounding. So I would like to invite you all to take a deep breath in, and then breathe out slowly. And for the next step, if you feel called to, I would like to invite you to close your eyes and take another deep breath in and exhale. And with your eyes closed, I would like to invite you to sense your body, sense your feet touching the ground. Feel your back touching the chair. Feel the gravity of your hands. Bring all your awareness, energy to this present moment. Come back to yourself. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes, come back to the room, but maintain that connection to your heart and to yourself. And so for this next step, could we change the slide? Thank you. So for this next activity, you see a list of top common values. And here I would invite you to read through them, select maybe 2 or 3, whatever speaks to you. And as you're reading them and you're selecting them, once you've selected your 2 or 3, I would like to invite you to write down, what does that mean to you? Because for me, connection might mean something different than what it means to you. So I really invite you to take the next 5 minutes to see what it means to you, your value. Explain how you embody it. Again, values are something that we live, not something that we think about. And the third step is to list moments where that value really was present in your life, and you can remember that activity. And we will add some background music to help you concentrate further, and you will have about 5 minutes to do this. And I really encourage you to do this activity because the next 2 activities will build on this one. I know you'll be motivated to do more, but for the intention of this specific training, as we are short on time, I think 2 or 3 would be the best. So once you've identified your values, it's really important to start sharing them with others. That's how you build community and tribes and networks. And it's really also important to share the information authentically, speaking from your own experience, not something that you've read about. Because we live in a world of AI-generated content. So there's a lot of noise, and people are now reluctant. They don't know what to trust, what is fake, what is real. And so there's this term, moving at the speed of trust. A lot of people are moving at the speed of trust. They're looking for individuals who are authentic, reliable, consistent. And authenticity and the experience economy are the new trends, both for big corporations, but also individuals on a day-to-day basis. And what we see on the business level is that 90% of customers say that authenticity is important for liking a brand. And on an individual level, 93% of people say that being authentic at work is really important for them, which is why it's so important to find opportunities that align with you and not just there to pay a paycheck. Next, please. So how does authenticity and emotional connection work? What is that glue that's keeping them together? What we look at is that when you have that emotional connection, for businesses, they experience a 306% higher lifetime value of a customer versus when a customer is just simply satisfied. And also what we see is that emotional connection across customers, they usually rate the brand higher than when they're just simply satisfied. And the next slide, I will dive deeper into how our brain is structured and why this connection is so strong and why it's happening. So as I mentioned to you earlier, AI is a recent thing, but our brain has been around for 100 million years and it's been evolving. The very oldest part of our brain is the reptilian brain, and it's been around for 100 million years during the time of dinosaurs. We weren't always in this body, by the way. But so the reptilian brain, it looks at the physical safety. It's very kinesthetic. It's about movement. It's fight or flight. And the goal is to protect the body. After the survival, we move into connection. And this is where the limbic system came online. And that's our emotional brain. And it's been around for 50 million years. So for the past 50 million years, the reptilian brain and the limbic brain, the emotional brain, have evolved together, which is why they have such a strong connection. And our emotional brain, it looks at our community, our group protection. And then the most recent brain is 3 million years old, and that's our prefrontal neocortex, and that's where it's all about our visuals. And this is where we can daydream, envision what the future that we want to look like. And one thing to really keep in mind is that the way we access the neocortex is when we're relaxed. When you're under stress, it's really hard for you to envision something positive or focus on your goals. You are usually operating from a fight or flight level. Next slide, please. Which one is mine?
The brain, limbic or rational, or which one is how do you identify yours?
Well, we have all three. And we don't really choose which one we identify with. It's just a matter of are you fighting for your life? Are you in a dangerous place? Then you're probably operating from your reptilian brain, where it's all about how do I protect my body. When you're with your family and you're connecting, you're operating from your emotional brain because you're with your tribe and you're having fun and you're relaxed. And then when you're studying or you have to put together a presentation, that's when you're operating from your neocortex. Of course. Are there any other questions? No? Okay, thank you. Yeah? Either that or they basically suppress themselves, so they dissociate. So sometimes they just daydream or run away from problems because they don't. Feeling those emotions is too much and they haven't developed the tools and capacity to sit with it. So sometimes they just dissociate. That's why brain rot and just doom scrolling are a thing. Yeah?
More than like one another, right? Like you can't operate. Sometimes some people, they are so emotional, they are so sensitive and use their limbic brain. Like sometimes you cannot, like you cannot control yourself. Like, do you have any recommendation to control?
I think the best recommendation is to ground yourself like we did. Like deep breaths, mindfulness, maybe soothing yourself, telling yourself you're okay. Because when you're activated, it's hard for you to concentrate. And again, the emotional and the reptilian brain, they're very connected. So the reason people shut down and they don't want to hear anyone else is because they're in a survival mode. And those survival mechanisms, it's something that we develop through our life based on how we interacted with our parents, or maybe we had traumatic events. And so it takes, for different people, it takes different tools and techniques, but usually the emotional and the reptilian brain are operating together. Yeah, thank you. So why are we talking about emotions? Is because it's overwhelming to apply for jobs. It's overwhelming to live in this world right now. There's so much happening, from war to prices rising to people being canceled and the cancel culture. And the thing is that when we don't have our direction and clarity of where we want to go, we can sometimes get overwhelmed and give up and become complacent. And so when you have a clear vision and a strategy and a roadmap, you have a North Star. So no matter what's happening, you will continue to follow your goal and plan because you know that's what you want. So earlier when I talked about the Amazon experience, 4 months is a long time. And there have been many moments where my parents told me, listen, maybe it's time to give up and just focus on an office job in America. And I knew that that's not what I wanted. And so having that clarity of what you want as an individual, not what your parents or friends or society tells you you want, is really, really critical and important to living a very happy and aligned life. It's worse. But there are more tea breaks and sweets, which is nice. Next slide, please. So again, what's the value add of knowing your values? It's that when you have clarity, you know who you are and what makes you unique. So when you're applying for your jobs, you know how to present yourself and you know how to stand out from the competition. And when you talk about it, you will talk about it from your heart. So people will really feel it and it will be very palpable and you might get the offer. Next slide, please. So now that you've identified your values, I invite you to take the next, let's say 3-4 minutes, because I know lunch is in 4 minutes. So let's take 3 minutes. We might be 5 minutes over, sorry guys. But let's take 3 minutes and sit down and look at the values that you've identified and the events that you found around them. and write down what are the skills and capabilities that you gained from living out that value, and how can you take those skills and capabilities and bring it to an organization to help them achieve their own mission. So for example, I told you that undergrad, I created a study abroad program because I was really passionate about sharing Azerbaijan with others, especially Americans. And through that process, I learned how to do project management, how to do stakeholder engagement. I went to a lot of classrooms, and so I learned about marketing. And so when I was applying for the Amazon job, I told them, not the Amazon, the Ecuadorian Amazon job, I told them that, listen, I have all this experience and I can really bring that value to you. I know how to find a common language with people who are not from the same background, or they might not see things the same way that I do, and that really helped me stand apart. So I invite you to take these 3 minutes to reflect on your values in those situations and see what are the skills and capabilities that you've garnered from that you can now bring to an organization or a job or a volunteer group that only you know how to do with your own unique flavor. Okay, we're gonna move to the third part of the training and soon to our last activity. Next slide, please. Does anyone still need more time? If you do, can you raise your hand? You need more time? Okay. 30 seconds. So now that you know what your values are, now that you know what values you can bring to an organization based on your past experiences and the skills and capabilities that you've gained, it's time to find opportunities that align to who you are and what you want to achieve in this world. And so a lot of organizations, you've probably seen that they have their own vision, mission, and values as well. And that's because when you bring people together, they come together around something that's important to them, because we all want to have a very fulfilled and meaningful life. And so the way you can use that information in your job search is 2 ways. You can understand the company values, so you know what companies you want to pursue and you want to apply for. And usually when you go to the companies, they ask you during the interview process, what inspired you to apply to this job? Why do you want to work in our industry and in our organization? And this is where you can tell them, it's because your values align with mine, and this is the reason why, and then you list it out. It's also important for cultural fit, because again, you don't want to go to an organization that maybe doesn't match your lifestyle or needs and find yourself miserable 6 months in. And so usually at the end of the interview, the recruiters also open up the room to ask you, do you have any questions for us? And this is where you can ask them those questions, such as, how do you build team building in your work? Do you support capacity building and training so that I can keep growing? What are my perspectives? Also, if you don't like going into the office every day, maybe you want to find a job that approves remote working. And so you ask them, do you have remote working options? So knowing your values is really key in identifying those options, and then coming into the interview super prepared and showing them that you're really committed to working there. Next slide, please. So this information is not just an idea. This has been researched and proven, and research shows that when you're in an interview and you sound very authentic and confident in your answers, the recruiters view it positively. And if they feel that you're being inauthentic, if they feel that you're saying something based on what you think they want to hear, then your review will not be as successful. And another really important thing to note is that recruiters are also paying a lot of attention to the nonverbal cues. So again, remember those 3 brains? The emotional brain of 50 million years and the reptilian brain of 100 million years still dominate. So while we like to think of ourselves as very logical, sophisticated individuals. A lot of times we are very emotional, and it happens at a subconscious level where we don't even notice it. Next, please. Next slide. So, and one thing that I would like to share with you is this thing called magic of three. Our brain, in order to visualize those moments, it likes to hear the same information from different angles. So if you reflect back on the initial slides where I talked about my experience, there was a photo there. I explained, there was a quote by a third person that went to the trip. There were statistics. So I presented the same situation from different angles. And when you're with recruiters, it's important to remember the 3 V's of communication. So again, the verbal cues, what you're telling them, that's only about 7% of the information that they're picking up on. 38% comes from your vocal. How do you talk? What's your pace? Are you confident? Are you insecure? Is your voice kind of getting low when you're unsure? And then, most importantly, 55% of the information that you relay to others comes from the visual. How do you move your body? How do you gesture? And that's, again, just to demonstrate to you that when you go into the interviews, it's not really even about what you know, but about being sure of who you are and what you can bring to the table. And a lot of times, organizations will choose an individual who might not have all the skills that they're looking for, but if they see that this individual is a great fit for their company and that they're committed and passionate and that they can rise to that level through some training, usually that individual will be hired because they know that they will fit in well with the collective. And this is where the idea of show, don't tell comes in. Next slide, please. So as you have your roadmap now of your values, the skills, and maybe how you're going to want to present them, we have an activity, but how many of you are hungry? How many of you want to do the activity? Unfortunately, I have to leave. One thing, okay, let's take the next 2 minutes. I think everyone can hold off for 2 minutes. So take 2 minutes to write down the verbal, vocal, and visual, and identify how the 2 or 3 values that you listed and the skills and capabilities that you identified, how can you present that when you're speaking to someone like a recruiter? Verbal, visual, and vocal. Yeah, like for instance, verbal, I will say, I focused on sustainability. I did stakeholder engagement. Visual, maybe you can dress in a way that aligns with the organization. So for instance, when you go to a nonprofit, you probably will not be wearing a suit if you're going to, a corporation or you're a lawyer. So dressing to align with the mission and vision and energy of the organization. Well, vocal is how you present it. Are you presenting it very confident? Are you very passionate? So it's more, it's not just the words, it's how you present them, how you speak it. Okay, we're gonna move to the next slide. Thank you. No, sorry, go back. Okay, so as you have your roadmap, I also wanna share some tips of how to approach the job search process. The first thing is, again, as I mentioned, there are less jobs and more people applying to them, and you don't want to get overwhelmed applying for anything and everything. It really is important to have a strategy. And again, that strategy is customized to each of you based on what your values are, your capabilities, and experiences. And so once you have that list that you've just created for yourself, you can review that. You can decide, what industry do I want to be in? What organizations do I know of that maybe I want to go on their website and see what kind of projects they're doing? What is their vision, values, mission? Once you've done that, you can look into your LinkedIn or networks and see, are there individuals that I know that are already working in similar organizations? If so, can I ask them for an informational interview, like a 30-minute interview? And I really recommend this because when you're working in an industry, you understand what are the current trends. And so it's a nice way to gather that research. So when you do go to a job interview and they ask you about the recent trends, you can always say, yeah, I know this, or I've heard this, and be more prepared. Also, when you talk to someone who's already doing the work that you think you want to do, you can learn from them what are the positives, what are the negatives, and usually they'll give you a very real answer. So you can decide, is this where I see myself as well? Another great thing about the internet is that there are a lot of free webinars, events, conferences. So I really encourage you to find those and attend as many as you can because it's all about networking and people. People connect with people. And so when you do find a job that you're interested in, I also recommend that you look at the job description and you identify what are those specific skills that they're looking for and how can you position yourself to demonstrate that you have that. And make sure that your resume and LinkedIn, because everyone will have access to your LinkedIn and other social accounts, make sure that they're aligned and you're telling the same story. You are a brand, so by knowing your values, the values that you bring to others, you will be set up for success. And next slide. So we're 10 minutes over, but I really appreciate you staying through this. I hope you've learned more about yourself in this short time. And the words that I want to leave you with is this. It's really important that you know yourself, and it's also really important that you be yourself, because there's only one of you. And authenticity is not a trend. It's here to stay, especially as AI and a noisy world gets more noisy and difficult. And there are things that you are here to bring to the world that no one else can. So I hope you believe in yourself. I hope that you are brave enough to share your message. And I hope that you are brave enough to be different and just be yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, background, and for fruitful training session. So after an inspiring first half of the day, it's now time for our lunch break. We hope you are hungry and ready to enjoy the meal, connect with one another, and recharge for the rest of the forum. Thank you for being with us.